Hi lawn mowing people. Today I'm going to talk to you about keeping track of where your money goes in your lawn mowing business. Now, this is something that you should do sooner rather than later. If you don't know where your money's going, then you end up not making any. So the first thing that I'd suggest is that you don't use personal accounts. Don't go out and start running your business out of your personal account. Set up a separate account. This is a mistake that a lot of businesses make. And the problem is once you've done this, it's really, really hard at the end of the first year to go back through and figure out what is a personal expense and what is a business expense. Now, the best way to start is to set up a business account right from the beginning. Make a deposit. Call it something like capital introduced or starting capital, and make sure that there's a record, because this here you can claim back off your personal taxes as you pay yourself. So you want a record of the money that you put into your business. If you're going to spend a few $1,000s on mowers and stuff to start off, then you want to have a record of that expenditure. And you preferably want to take that money, put it in your business bank account that you've just opened up, and use that from the start. Now, there are some free software programs that you can use for record keeping, and if you set this up correctly, it's going to save you a ton of money at the end of the year as far as doing your end of year accounts and that go. Now, what I'd recommend is Zoho Books. I'm not an affiliate or anything, but they're quite good, and they'll give you a free account for up to 50K's worth of turnover. So that's a reasonable amount of turnover, and they have a full accounting software as you can see here. And even when you do go to pay, once you've hit the 50K mark, it's not that expensive. I mean, you're looking at $16.50 a month. That's pretty cheap for accounting software. Okay, and if you were just going to look at, let's say, invoicing software, they do have a free invoicing software option. Basically, once you sign up for this, you can send free invoices and people can pay you online. Really, really simple. So this is great free invoicing software, and it gives your business a bit of a professional look. Right, so the reason that you want to use software is you want to keep your finger on the pulse of your lawn mowing business. So you want to know what's going in and going out, because the better you understand your business's financial health, the more help you get to make informed decisions. So it's time to transform your business. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to use a cash flow chart. Now, this is basically what a cash flow chart looks like. This is just a dummy one that I've set up. I'll just zoom in on that one a little bit so you can see what's happening here. And basically what this does is, if it takes your starting balance, it takes the amount you're going to earn, it takes all of your expenditure, there's your outgoings, and then it tells it, as in your drawings, you see the drawings is empty right now, and it comes up with a total, and it tells you how much you got left at the end of the month. And if you spend more money in 1 month than you bring in, then you're in negative. You can see here I've put $2,000 for equipment. Now, this should have gone here, but what I've done here is I've taken what we spent in a year on these costs to give you an idea of a percentage. And this first month is just basically the average percentage of what we spent on this amount of money. So 1.23% of $600 is $7.38. So this is just basically a formula that lets you know what we spent in costs. Now, this isn't exactly going to be what you're spending, but it might give you an idea. And you can just write over this if you want. You can just type in what you want there. And this is basically what I've done with the rest of this, like advertising. I've made it $150 a month. Dump fees $80 a month. Now, these things may be different for you. What you do is you just go through, and you can see at the end of the month, assuming that you're growing by $100 a week, $400 a month. So you could change this if you like to $500 a month. if that's what you think your business is going to grow by, and just see how it changes all of the figures here. Now, looking at the end of the month, you can see here, we'll go back to 400. You can see here you're going to actually have $15,000 at the end of the year. So you know that you could basically pay yourself $300 a week from day one and break even. So that's how a cash flow works, and it helps you know when you're going to run out of money. Like, see how it's gone red? It's telling you that you need money. So if you're going to go with this plan exactly as it is, you're going to have a $2,000 overdraft in your bank account, or you're going to have to start with $2,000. If you're going to do this and not have a $2,000 overdraft, you'd want to start with $2,000, and you can type your starting capital in there. There you go, you haven't gone into overdraft. So that's how a cash flow chart works. You can download this free if you're part of the membership. You can download your own copy of that. So another thing is to set up a healthy payment plan and look at where the money's being spent and see if there's ways of reducing costs. And if you pick your highest expenditure, see if you can reduce costs and then move on to the next highest expenditure. And what's happening is you'll be reducing costs without compromising service, so don't cut any corners. And if you manage to do that, then you're increasing profit and your business is making more and more money. Now, another thing is to pay yourself regularly, and do this from day one. And it's also handy if you're going to do something like buy a house or whatever, because the bank like to see a regular payment. Just don't take money willy-nilly out of your bank account. Don't use your business card as your personal piggy bank. Don't go into a shop and get petrol at the gas station and go into the gas station and buy a pie. It's two separate transactions. One of them's personal, the other is business. Keep them separate. Pay yourself once a week on a Friday and clearly mark that as drawings. You can change your payday if you want. That's not really that important as long as it's regular. Now, another thing that I'd suggest is pay yourself 50% of turnover for the first year. Your running costs are going to be about 40, and the other 10% can cover things like taxes and things like that. And if you stick to the 50% rule, there'll be enough in your account to cover your personal taxes and everything else when the year is up. And also, don't go out and buy lots of gear unless you need it. If you're going to do a job and it requires a piece of equipment and you're not going to be using that equipment all of the time, then just rent it for the job. Another thing is keep your receipts. Don't throw everything willy-nilly into a box. Keep track of your documents. Now, there's a simple method you can do that. You can get something called a concertina file. This is what they look like. And when you get one of these, basically all you do is they have tons of different compartments here, and you just take your receipts for the month and just do all January in one pocket, all February in another, etc., etc., etc. And one of these will last you a year, and they're pretty cheap. There you go. Keep all of your documents for basically $21 a year. Now, you can't argue with that price. So as I said, you write the year on the front and write the months on the pockets, and every month use a new pocket, and there you go. Your accountant, IRD, and your pocket will all love you for doing that. Now, finally, use an accountant. A good accountant will pay for themselves in savings, so it's well worth having one. They're going to cost about $1,000 a year, but a good accountant's going to save you $1,000 a year, so they're pretty much free. Now, if you're a sole trader, you can consider using a service like Henry. This is what Henry looks like. It basically, never think about tax again. So they basically have a tool where they keep track of what you spend. They become your accountant, and they'll pay all of your taxes for you and do all of your returns and basically take care of everything for you. And the cost is about 1% of turnover, so that's pretty cool. I mean, if you turn over $1,000, they're going to cost you $10. So the limit, I think, is the most you'll pay them is $1,000 in a year. So they do have a limit. Once you get over 100K, their cost doesn't go up. So it's a pretty good way of doing it. So that's your other option, is to use a service like Henry. And the other thing that I'd suggest is that you utilize scheduling and payment systems to set up APs on your payments, make sure that you've got the funds in the account, and make sure that your customers pay you on time too, and then everybody will be happy and you'll be making money. So don't forget, if you want to learn how to build and grow a profitable lawn mowing business, do a search for Lawn Mowing 101 /membership and you'll find us. And also just get out there, mow lawns, have fun, and happy lawn mowing, people.